Hello, my name is Briia Anthony, and I'm here today to give an informative speech on elder abuse. Let me first start by saying that I chose this topic because I have a special interest in the geriatric population. I have a bachelor's degree in gerontology, I'm working on my bachelor's in nursing. I want to be a geriatric nurse, so my passion and my drive is in working with the elderly population. And I feel as though elder abuse is a topic that is commonly overlooked and underreported. And I just wanted to bring forth information about it to hopefully stop that from being an issue in the future. So, to start off, let me just give you some statistics. Elder abuse happens in about 1 out of every 10 Americans. And actually, that number could be inaccurate because, like I stated previously, the numbers of elder abuse cases are underreported, and so the CDC is basing that off of the reports that they get. We don't know the real numbers, but 1 out of 10 to be reported is still a lot. Um, so elder abuse is becoming a public health issue. It's an epidemic, not just in the United States, across the world. Nationwide, elder abuse is becoming more and more common. Um, it's becoming a growing problem, and people will actually need to step up and report the cases that they may see, because when elders cannot speak for themselves, we have to be their voice. We have to stick up for them, and we have to report what we see when they can't. Um, so this type of abuse, elder abuse, let me start by telling you what that can include, so that we can get like a definition in play. This can be physical, sexual, emotional, neglect, abuse. It could be abandonment, and it also can be financial abuse, which is one of the more common types when it comes to family members, the financial abuse. Um, they are more likely to happen within the home of the elder, but you do see cases in the healthcare setting, such as when people go to long term care, nursing homes, assisted livings. You do see cases of elder abuse there as well. Um, but too often it's just swept under the rug, and out of fear, victims don't come forward. But this is an epidemic that we need to get under control. So, like I said before, the term elder abuse has several different definitions. There are several different types of abuse that are technically considered to be a part of the elder abuse definition. And there are risk factors associated with elder abuse. The person's age, their race, their socioeconomic status, if they have functional or cognitive impairments, if there's a history of family violence or a recent stressful event in the family. So if something's happening in the family that maybe involves the elder, that puts them more likely to be abused as well. Um, so depression and dementia are more common in the neglected patients. So people who you see that are being neglected, they're more likely to suffer from either dementia or depression. And if you don't know, dementia causes a cognitive impairment. So its physical and executive functioning are affected, and elders with this disease are more likely to be physically abused because they may not, actually be able to report the abuse. So people take advantage of the fact that they have memory loss, they can't report what, happened to them. So that's why they're more likely to be abused. Depending on the different states, this definition does vary, but that's just the general definition. Every state has its own definition of what elder abuse is, what it means to be an elder as far as age stipulations, and also, what elder abuse actually consists of. What is considered abuse? That does vary state by state. But overall, you can see an umbrella that's generally the same. So, when they're determining what the definition of elder abuse is, they have to take into consideration why this is happening. And a lot of times they bring up this idea of ageism, which is just a bias towards the elderly population. People think that they can't do anything, or they don't deserve to be treated a certain way, or they're just old, they're gonna die anyway. Those are all types of ageism, which play a role in elder abuse because those type of people who are ageist, they look down on the elderly population. So that plays a huge role. And when the courts are coming up with definitions, they have to figure out why is elder abuse so common? People with severe disabilities, again, I cannot stress enough. Elders with severe disabilities, dementia, cognitive impairments, depression, bipolar, anything that makes them vulnerable puts them at higher risk for being abused, whether it's at home or in the nursing home, long term care setting. So, studies actually do show that the most common form of elder abuse is neglect. So that ranges from 27.9 to 62.3% of all cases of elder abuse. Neglect is one of the most common. And I have a chart here for you to see. And so it shows you there, you know, you see that neglect is one of the biggest marks. It's one of the most common types. And then over here, we just have the population of older people that are expected to come. By the time 2040 gets here, the number in 2000 is going to double. So those over the age of 65 are expected to almost, triple within a few years, which means more people, are at risk for being victims of elder abuse. So the biggest ethical issue involved in reporting and investigating elder abuse is the lack of capacity for older adults to actually say what happened to them. Their credibility is not great if they have a cognitive impairment. So, like diseases like dementia, they can make it hard to, prove that certain things happen to them. And then also people with dementia, because they're so severely confused, they get comfortable with their caregivers and they don't want to do anything that they feel is going to take away that relationship from them. So they try their hardest, not to do anything wrong because that's the only person that they trust and they want to maintain that relationship. So, you know, elders are being abused every day at home, in the healthcare setting, and most of the time nobody's reporting it. And it is important to know what resources are out there for us to use to be a voice for the elderly population who cannot speak up for themselves. So it's important to know the legal parameters in the state that you're in and what you can do to make a difference. And it's impossible to report all cases, but it is very possible to make a difference in some lives, even if not all. It all starts with somebody having a voice, somebody stepping up, somebody coming forward and letting people know what they saw. For those who cannot speak up for themselves, it's important to put yourself in the victim's shoes or in the loved ones of the victim, the family member of the loved one who is being abused. That is one way to encourage people to come forward, because what if that was you? All they need is a voice, and all it takes is a phone call or a report, and the ability to make a change is right in front of us. Thank you so much for listening to my speech. I hope that I informed somebody about elder abuse. If there's any questions, feel free to comment. I just hope that this gets out there and that we can start making a difference. Thank you.